You can get the money, you can get the body, and you can get the relationship and still lose all of it. People become wealthy and lose everything. People lose weight and gain it back. People finally build the business they dreamed of and burn it down from the inside. Why? Most people think success is about getting, but I think it's about keeping. And keeping isn't determined by your goals, it's determined by your identity. Here's the idea I want to leave you with today: stop building your identity from your past, start building it from your future. And here's the neuroscience behind why that actually works. Your brain has two hemispheres. The left hemisphere is primarily responsible for speech and language. It tends to process information sequentially and constantly builds an explanation for what's happening. And the right hemisphere tends to process information more holistically. It processes context, spatial relationships, facial expressions, and emotional tones, helping you see the bigger picture. The left hemisphere controls the right half of your body, and the right hemisphere controls the left half of your body. Normally, these two halves communicate constantly through a thick bundle of nerve fibers called corpus callosum. This connection allows both halves to share information and work together as a single unified mind. But in the 1960s and 70s, doctors discovered that some patients with severe epilepsy seizures could spread rapidly from one hemisphere to the another through corpus callosum, making the conditions much worse. So, to reduce the spread of seizures, surgeons performed a procedure called corpus callosotomy, cutting the corpus callosum to stop seizures from spreading between two hemispheres. But the results gave rise to one of the most fascinating discoveries in the neuroscience. One of those patients was a man named Paul. Now, your each hemisphere processes information from the opposite side of the visual field. Means, whatever you see on the left side of the screen is processed by the right hemisphere, and whatever you see in the right side of the screen is processed by the left hemisphere. So, researchers could send different information to each half of Paul's brain. In experiment, they flashed a chicken claw to his left hemisphere and a snowy landscape to his right hemisphere. Then they showed him a row of pictures and asked him to point to what matched. So his right hand pointed to a chicken and his left hand pointed to a shovel. Then they asked him, "Why did you choose them?" Paul answered instantly, "I picked the chicken because I saw the chicken claw, and you need a shovel to clean a chicken shed." It sounded completely logical, but it was wrong. His right hemisphere has actually seen a snowy landscape. That's why his left hand, which is controlled by the right hemisphere, reached for a shovel to clear the snow. But the speaking half of his brain, which is the left hemisphere, had no access to that information at all. So instead of saying, "I don't know," it invented a reason. Instantly, confidently. His brain was manufacturing a story to make his own behavior make sense. This insight reveals something all of us do. Your brain doesn't just experience your life, it explains it. It's constantly building a story about who you are, one decision, one explanation at a time. So, where did the first draft of that story come from? Evidence, repeated evidence. Nobody is born believing "I am confident" or "I am not good enough." Those are conclusions reached after years of proof. Praised for solving problems, and your brain updates "I am smart." Failed a few times, told you weren't capable, your brain updates "maybe this isn't who I am." Your brain isn't asking, "Is this objectively true?" It's asking, "Does the evidence support this story?" And once the story is established, it starts creating the evidence that reinforces itself. Believe "I am not someone who exercises," and you skip the gym. Skipping the gym becomes more evidence. "See, I knew. I wasn't that kind of person." Your identity shapes your behavior. Your behavior creates results. Results become evidence, and evidence further strengthen your identity. It's a loop, and most people build that loop entirely from their past, asking, "Who have I been?" to predict, "Who can I become?" But your past isn't your destiny. It's just a story your brain has the most proof for. Which means if evidence built your current identity, new evidences can build a different one. So, why doesn't everyone just change? Because your brain was designed to maximize survival. For most of human history, uncertainty was dangerous. Unfamiliar territory meant predators, and rejection meant isolation. Your nervous system is evolved to prefer familiar, even when it isn't serving you anymore. That's why changing careers, speaking up, and starting something new all feels scary. Not because they are dangerous, but because they are unfamiliar. Your fear isn't always saying, don't do this. Often it's just saying, I've never been here before. Once you see that distinction, you stop treating fear as proof you are incapable and start treating it as proof that you are growing. But if your future identity doesn't exist yet, where does the evidence come from? Simple. You borrow it. Find people already living the life you want to live. Not out of jealousy, not to worship them, and not at all to copy their personality, but to study how they think. Most people ask, what did they do? But the deeper question is, what identity made those actions feel natural? Take Einstein. Most people remember discoveries. Almost no one studies the identity behind them, the relentless curiosity, the willingness to sit with a question for years instead of rushing to an answer. That identity shaped his days. Those days produced work. So study the thinking before you study the achievement. An athlete doesn't just train differently, they think differently. A great communicator doesn't simply speak well, they constantly observe people, ideas, and stories and stop waiting to feel like that role model. Just act like them to whatever extent you honestly can today. If your future identity values health, go for a walk. If it values courage, have that hard conversation. Every action is a vote, and every vote is an evidence. And slowly, your brain updates the story. Maybe this is who I am now. And there will be a stretch where nobody else can see it. Maybe not even you. That's normal when your new identity is under construction. Building a future identity is also lonely. Your family, your friends, and people around you still sees the old you. Sometimes even you slip back to the old story. And that's completely normal and it's a part of the journey. But that's the reason you need something deeper. Something that keeps you moving before the concrete visible results arrive. That anchor should be a deep emotional commitment to who you are becoming. It might be faith, a mission, or a future relationship. The name doesn't matter. The function does. It keeps you moving while your identity catches up. So let's come back to where we started. People get the money, the body, the relationship, and lose it. Not always from a lack of discipline, but because the identity that created those results was never rebuilt to sustain them. The external world changed, the internal story didn't. Eventually, the old story pulled them back. So, here's what I want you to do today: write one sentence that aligns with that future identity in present tense. I am someone who, then ask, if I were already that person, what would I do today? Now do exactly one thing: one workout, one page, one hard conversation, one action that aligns with your future self. Because that single action becomes evidence. Your brain is already writing a story about who you are, whether you realize it or not. So the only question is, will it keep being written from your past, or will you start writing it from your chosen future? If this changed how you think about identity, subscribe. This channel exists for one purpose: to help you understand yourself deeply enough to become who you are capable of becoming.